Desert Reckoning. The desert highway shimmered under the scorching midday sun, stretching like a ribbon of heat and silence across the arid land. At a weather-beaten crossroads where sand met old asphalt stood a faded neon sign, Manny's Pit Stop Diner, the kind of place truckers pulled into for burnt coffee and gas station burritos. Inside, seated at the counter with a chipped mug of black coffee in one hand and a folded newspaper in the other, was Sloane Carter. She didn't look like much at first glance, just another traveler, dusty from the road. But to anyone paying attention, there was something in her posture, her stillness, the calm precision in the way her eyes scanned the room. Sloane wasn't ordinary. She was a former Navy SEAL, the kind of woman who'd operated behind enemy lines in the most unforgiving places on Earth. One of the rare few to have earned her trident through grit, pain, and blood. Now, she was on a solo road trip across the country, trying to shake off the ghosts of war and find something close to peace. But trouble, it seemed, had a knack for finding her. The wrong target. The door to Manny's banged open. In swaggered the Steel Serpents, a local motorcycle gang with national ambitions. Leather vests, chains, loud voices. Dust followed them like an omen. Their leader, Jagger, stood tall at 6 feet 4 inches, a wall of muscle and ego, his beard braided with silver rings. He scanned the diner like he owned it. Then his eyes landed on Sloane. "Well now," Jagger said, voice booming, "what do we have here? A pretty little thing all by her lonesome." The gang chuckled like a pack of wolves. Sloane didn't glance up, just sipped her coffee. Jagger walked over, laid a heavy hand on her shoulder. "How about you and me get acquainted, sugar?" Wrong move. In one blur of motion, Sloane twisted his wrist, yanked his arm behind his back, and slammed his face down onto the counter with a crack that silenced the room. Blood spattered across the napkin holder. Chairs scraped. Weapons drawn. Sloane stood slowly, her calm demeanor unchanged. "You boys sure you want to do this?" she asked. The first fight. One biker lunged with a switchblade. Sloane sidestepped, twisted his arm until the blade clattered, then dropped him with an elbow to the temple. Another swung a chain. She ducked, caught it midair, yanked him forward into a brutal knee that collapsed him in a heap. Jagger staggered to his feet, nose broken, fury boiling. He drew a pistol. "Should have played nice, bitch," he snarled. Sloane didn't flinch. The second his finger twitched, she moved, lightning fast. A kick sent the gun flying. She followed with a spinning heel kick to his chest that launched him into a booth. The remaining bikers took one look at their broken leader and fled. Sloane walked over to Jagger, grabbed his bloody collar. "I'm letting you live today," she said, voice low. "Next time I won't." She dropped cash for the coffee, stepped outside, and fired up her motorcycle. The engine roared as she disappeared into the horizon. The chase begins. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in gold and crimson, Sloane noticed headlights in her rearview mirror. Motorcycles. The Steel Serpents weren't done. She sighed. "Should have stayed down, boys." She twisted the throttle. Gunfire cracked behind her, bullets sparking against the pavement. Her mind shifted into combat mode. An old bridge loomed ahead, a narrow canyon crossing. Perfect. From her jacket, she pulled a flashbang, bit the pin, counted one breath. Through it, the blinding light and thunderclap sent bikes swerving. 2 crashed in a tangle of steel and flames. But Jagger and 3 others kept coming. Sloane braked hard, skidding to a stop on the bridge. She laid her bike sideways for cover, drew her custom SIG Sauer P320. Engines idled. Jagger climbed off his Harley, now wielding a sawed-off shotgun. "You really thought you'd ride away?" he growled. Sloane smiled. "I was hoping." A biker rushed her with a tire iron. She ducked, struck his jaw with the butt of her pistol. He crumpled instantly. Another aimed a pistol. She fired first, 2 clean shots to his shoulder. Weapon down. Screaming. Jagger cocked his shotgun and pulled the trigger. Click. She grinned. "You should clean your gear." She lunged, disarmed him, then headbutted him. One roundhouse kick later, he was out cold. The last biker dropped his weapon and ran. Sloane crouched over Jagger, grabbed his vest. "That was your second warning," she whispered. "There won't be a third." The war escalates. As she rode into the night, the desert wind at her back, adrenaline still humming, Sloane knew it wasn't over. Jagger wasn't just some punk. He had connections. She needed to prepare. A few miles later, she pulled into a dusty roadside motel. Paid in cash. Fake name. Took a hot shower. Then she noticed it, a shadow under the door. A knock. She tensed. Then a voice. Carter. It's me. She knew that voice. Galabunsa. Former Marine, now bounty hunter. Old friend. A ghost from the past. She cracked open the door. His face was the same, scarred, serious. I know you like to work solo, he said, but you're gonna need backup. Jagger's calling in the Black Talons. Her blood chilled. The Talons weren't bikers. They were mercenaries. Ex-military. No code. No merci. The counterstrike. Where are they? She asked. Old Depot. 50 miles south, Vance replied. Sloane geared up. Knives. Pistols. Ammo. Adrenaline. We hit them tonight. They approached under cover of darkness. Vance created a diversion. An explosion rocked the far end of the depot. Sloane dropped in through a skylight. Inside, chaos. She moved like a shadow, 2 guards down before they even registered her. Then she saw him. Jagger, surrounded by Black Talon muscle, shaking hands with someone she recognized. Rafael Cordero, ex-Special Forces, now a cartel enforcer. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was weapons trafficking. This was a war. The final battle. She tossed smoke grenades. The room filled with gray. Gunfire erupted. Sloane moved with lethal precision, dropping targets with silenced rounds. Vance stormed in, shotgun booming. Jagger tried to escape. Sloane chased him through the alley. He pulled a knife. She didn't flinch. One kick to the knee, crack. He screamed. She grabbed his collar. No more chances. Bang. He dropped. Vance appeared beside her, breathing hard. Cordero slipped out. She holstered her pistol. Then we hunt him next. The ride forward. The sun was rising over the horizon, casting long golden shadows across the desert. Sloane mounted her bike. Behind her, blood, ruin, fire. Ahead, purpose. This wasn't about rest anymore. This was a mission. Cordero, the cartel, the mercenaries, they would all fall. The desert wind howled. Sloane Carter didn't look back. She rode into the rising sun. Some wars don't end on the battlefield. Some begin in diners, over a cup of coffee.